Greetings all, thedvsmonkey here. I had a completely different video planned for today, and I took my camera out on my walk and I talked about a whole bunch of stuff, but that was all just a test. It was a test to see if the contraption that I put together helped make the footage any less crappy. It did not. So what I want to talk about today is all the different devices that I use to actually carry the camera and how none of them work for what I want to do. And maybe get a suggestion from you. So I had the camera on this setup. So it's a GorillaPod, a 5K GorillaPod with a Joby ball head and one of these sort of generic Arca holders. I don't even know what to call them, but I have them pretty much on every one of my devices that I use to hold a camera so that I can seamlessly transfer a camera to any of those devices. This I used because I thought maybe if I used something that was heavier and a little bit longer, that when I'm holding it out and walking, that the footage would be less jittery. And again, it wasn't, which is very disheartening. The entire reason I bought this Sony a6600 was for the in-body image stabilization, and then the two lenses that I have for the camera also have optical steady shot. Those two combined should make all my footage pretty decent, but it doesn't. Sony needs to step up their game on image stabilization because it's just not that good. Now, what I mostly carry the camera on is this Sony Bluetooth grip that has the little legs that spread out so that you can sort of set it down like a tripod, or you can fold them up and then it just becomes a grip. Now on the grip, there's also like, you can start and stop recording, you can zoom if the camera has that ability, which my camera and the lenses do, and you can snap a photo if you're into that, and then there's also a function button that you can do. So it also has this small rig quick adapter on the top, so once again those square plates will fit in there seamlessly. Now this is what I carried around all the time, or most of the time, because it fits just right, it's small enough, it's light enough, and it's sturdy enough to hold the camera. Problem is that it's too light, so at least I thought it was, because I thought that's why I was sort of jittering the camera about. Turns out that might not really be the problem. Now, I then also stepped it up and I used this small rig mini tripod that also has a ball head into it and also one of these Arca type adapter cinches. Gonna have to look that up and see what they call it. Now this is all metal, so it's a lot heavier than that Bluetooth grip, and just heavy enough to sort of make it kind of, this isn't really that good. But again, not heavy enough to stop the jitters, and I thought that the GorillaPod would be really a lot heavier. It is heavier, but it's too heavy. It's incredibly uncomfortable to walk around on a walk that long trying to hold that damn thing up. Don't like it. So I also tried one more thing, and this was the powered grip that also I put a little tripod feet on, and also another one of those little cinches up there for the square plate, so that maybe having a sturdy grip, plus I can power the camera from this. The problem is that because I don't have a ball head on here, there's no adjustment to the camera, so I had to keep moving my wrist, and it just wasn't comfortable. Now the last thing that I use, but this definitely is too heavy and too big, of course, is my gimbal. So it's a Zune Crane Plus gimbal. Now this thing is big and it's also incredibly heavy. So if I want to get steady shots, it's great, but perfect for any of the cameras that I have. But it's too big, heavy, and just ridiculous looking to be walking around vlogging on it. So can't use that either. Now, having used all these devices and only the gigantic heavy gimbal giving me usable smooth footage, which I'm not going to use, I've come to find that it doesn't matter what I put the camera on, I'm not going to get smooth footage when I'm trying to walk point of view vlogging. It's just not going to work. The footage is just too shaky, And yes, I know that I've already told you that I'm hard on myself, and I tell my wife my footage sucks all the time, but it really does. Like, it's just too jittery. I cannot use it. I cannot in good conscience use it. This is one of those square plates that I'm talking about right here. And it basically just screws in to whatever you screw it into, in my case, the bottom of my cameras, or in the case of the GoPros, I screw it into one of the bases for the GoPro. So that way, instead of having to use a GoPro attachment all the time, I can just use this square plate. And again, it can go on any one of these devices, any tripod, any monopod, and that's the way I've set it up. Convenient, but all for naught as far as getting smooth footage. So when it gets right down to it, if I'm going to do a walking and talking vlog, it's going to have to be with a GoPro. Because I have this set up on the GoPro connector, down here, I can move the camera forward and back, and I mean, the stability on this thing is crazy. I mean, sometimes I go like this on purpose just to see if I can get it to be jittery, and it isn't. I mean, it's amazing. They did a really good job with this. So all that being said, it was all a test. I've been trying all these different devices over the past couple of weeks to try to see if I can come up with a setup that's perfect for walking with my A6600 in a vlog format. And I cannot. Kind of disheartening, because I kind of dig the camera and I would love to be able to walk and talk. But for the most part, it's not going to work out that way. So I'll have to use the GoPro if I want to do that kind of shooting. Unless I'm walking somewhere and setting the camera down, which happens. There you have it. I have several devices to hold the camera, and none of them are good enough for vlogging. And that's okay. I'll just use the other camera. Problem solved. But now I know that. And I know that because I tested all these devices over the past 2 weeks and took them everywhere, doing anything that I would normally do. Again, I'm a little disheartened that it isn't working out that way, because I really like this Sony A6600. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There you have it. Several different devices. They all have their purpose. They're all good at what they do. They just don't work for me with my current camera setup in a way that I can walk and vlog and have usable footage. Then that's okay. That's why I have the GoPro. And there you go. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, drop me a line, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. And remember, kids, forward and up.